Have you ever thought about why we're all fascinated by the unknown? Why does the unpredictable catch our attention? It is human nature to be drawn to the unknown and unpredictable. This psychology can be applied in love and relationships. Today, we will tell you 6 dark psychological tactics to make anyone think about you non-stop via stories in our society and also in history. But remember, these should not be used on someone you genuinely love. They are for educational purposes only. Rule number 1, disappear suddenly. This one is about the element of surprise and the power of absence. When you suddenly become less available or go off the radar, it creates a sense of mystery and urgency. People want what they can't have, and by disappearing, you become the thing she can't have for a while. When you are consistent and predictable, you create a pattern, but you must break it. Go silent, no calls, no texts, no explanations. This triggers a psychological response called loss aversion. It's a principle that suggests people are more motivated by the fear of losing something than by the prospect of gaining something of equal value. In your absence, she starts to feel a potential loss, which ironically makes your value in her life skyrocket. But this tactic needs to be timed perfectly. It's not about ghosting or causing anxiety, it's about strategically creating a void, then reappearing just when she starts to really feel your absence. When you come back, you'll find that her interest and appreciation for you have grown. This isn't just a game, it's understanding human nature and the psychology of desire. People cherish what they have to miss once in a while, and that's exactly the role you'll play. Have you ever wondered why the stars seem so much brighter when they mysteriously hide behind clouds, only to reveal themselves once again in full splendor? Let me take you on a journey, a story that illustrates the power of strategic absence and the psychological dance of desire. Once upon a time, in a small, bustling town, there lived a young artist named Leo. Known for his captivating portraits and enigmatic personality, he was someone who animated the very air around him. Leo had an unusual rule, he called it the art of sudden absence. His friends and acquaintances knew all too well about this peculiar habit of his and how it added a compelling layer of intrigue to everything he did. Leo met Clara, a spirited woman with a fascination for the arts, at a local gallery. Their conversations were filled with laughter, depth, and a shared love for the world of creativity. The connection was instantaneous, like discovering the perfect shade of a rare paint that completes a masterpiece. For weeks, they enjoyed vibrant discussions over coffee, strolls in the park filled with laughter, and shared silences that spoke volumes. Clara found herself drawn to Leo's unpredictability, never quite knowing what to expect. However, just as she began to feel an unwavering routine in their interactions, Leo subtly evoked his rule. Without warning or an apparent reason, Leo stepped back. He disappeared from the usual haunts, his texts became less frequent, and the rhythm of their encounters paused like an unfinished symphony awaiting its grand finale. Clara, who had become accustomed to Leo's presence, felt a peculiar emptiness. The void was not severe enough to cause distress, but it was enough to leave her conscious of his absence. Clara experienced a whirlwind of emotions. Thoughts of Leo crept into her mind more often than before. She wondered what he might be doing, if he still thought of her, and why his presence had suddenly dissipated like a whisper in the wind. She realized that during his absence, her appreciation for the moments they shared had deepened. She longed for his stories, his laughter, his silent acknowledgments. Leo, in the meantime, was not truly absent but observing from a distance. He understood the profound psychology of desire and how longing can heighten value. By stepping back, he allowed Clara the space to explore her feelings, to truly discern the worth of his companionship in her life. Leo's disappearance was not an act of cruelty but a strategic play in the game of human emotions, designed to kindle a deeper connection. Weeks passed, and just as unpredictably as he had vanished, Leo returned. His reappearance was orchestrated with the precision of a maestro returning to lead an orchestra into the crescendo of a long-awaited climax. Clara, who had felt the weight of his absence, greeted him with a warmth that even she hadn't anticipated. The beauty of this story lies not in Leo's disappearance but in what it created, an opportunity for renewed appreciation and a reaffirmation of emotions that might have otherwise gone unnoticed. Clara's sense of loss transformed into a newfound appreciation and yearning, magnified by the time spent apart. Leo knew that this dance required precision. To manipulate absence is delicate, too much, and it can break the thread of connection, too little, and its effect diminishes. It's about finding the right balance, like every art form, knowing when to step forward and when to recede into the shadows. Their relationship, no longer a routine, had evolved. Clara and Leo cherished each interaction with a vividness enhanced by the element of surprise that had intertwined their paths. It wasn't a game but a masterful understanding of the ebb and flow of human connection, the depth of which is often overlooked. So, ask yourself, are you as brightly recalled in another's memory as when you are suddenly unseen? In harnessing disappearance not as a weapon but as a tool, you, like Leo, may find the whispers of your absence echoing louder than any presence ever could. Understanding this dance lets you appreciate the spaces in between, and sometimes, those spaces are where the magic truly happens. This story isn't about manipulation, it's about human nature, a gentle reminder of impermanence that makes what you already have shine a little brighter, like stars emerging from behind a veil of clouds. Rule number 2, make them emotionally dependent on you. This is where you get into their head. It's not just about being there for her, it's about becoming the person she can't live without. You're going to be the one who understands her better than anyone else, tapping into her deepest emotions and fears. Listen to her, learn what makes her tick, and then use that knowledge to become her emotional anchor. But here's the trick, do it selectively. Be there for her sometimes, and at other times, pull back. This inconsistency creates a sense of urgency and need that makes her crave your presence and support. At the same time, keep your own identity strong. Don't get lost in the role of being her support system, pursue your own dreams and goals. This balance of being emotionally supportive while maintaining your independence creates a magnetic, irresistible pull. You're providing her with emotional support, but on your terms, making her increasingly reliant on the unique connection you offer. Imagine the ancient city of Athens, a place where philosophy and politics intertwined, and where the seeds of democracy were sown. It was a time of great thinkers, and among them was Socrates, a man whose influence extended far beyond his own lifetime. Socrates was not just a philosopher, he was a master of understanding human nature, and his relationship with his most famous student, Plato, serves as a timeless illustration of emotional dependence. Socrates and Plato shared a bond that was both intellectual and emotional. Socrates, with his probing questions and relentless pursuit of truth, became the person Plato could not imagine his life without. He was the one who understood Plato's deepest fears and aspirations, tapping into the young philosopher's mind in a way that no one else could. Socrates listened, not just to Plato's words, but to the silence between them, discerning the unspoken thoughts that lay beneath. Yet, Socrates was not always present. He would engage Plato in intense dialogues, challenging his beliefs and pushing him to think deeper. But there were times when Socrates would step back, allowing Plato to ponder the questions on his own. This selective presence created a sense of urgency and need within Plato, making him crave Socrates' guidance and wisdom. This dynamic was not one-sided. Socrates maintained his own identity, pursuing his philosophical inquiries and engaging with other thinkers of the time. He did not lose himself in the role of being Plato's mentor. Instead, he remained a figure of intellectual independence. This balance of being emotionally supportive while maintaining his own pursuits created a magnetic pull that was irresistible to Plato. Plato's reliance on Socrates grew, yet so did his own intellectual prowess. Under Socrates' guidance, Plato began to see the world through a new lens, recognizing the potential within himself. Socrates had become his emotional anchor, yet he also empowered Plato to stand on his own, to question and explore the world independently. The relationship between Socrates and Plato was not without its challenges. There were moments of doubt and disagreement, but Plato knew he could turn to Socrates for insight and reassurance. And when Socrates was not there, Plato learned to find strength within himself, drawing on the lessons he had absorbed from his mentor. In this dance of intellect and emotion, Socrates succeeded in becoming someone Plato could not imagine his life without. Yet, he also succeeded in maintaining his own identity, his own philosophical journey. This balance was the key, the secret to creating an irresistible pull that was both magnetic and empowering. As we reflect on this historical relationship, we see that the true essence of making someone emotionally dependent is not about control or manipulation. It's about being present, being genuine, and above all, being oneself. It's about offering support on one's own terms, creating a connection that is both nurturing and liberating. Young people can learn several lessons from this story. First, the importance of listening deeply and understanding others' emotions and aspirations. Second, the value of maintaining one's own identity and pursuing personal goals, even while supporting others. Third, the power of selective presence, which can create a healthy dynamic of independence and interdependence. Lastly, the significance of empowering others to find their own strength, fostering growth and resilience. So, as we navigate our own relationships, let us remember this: be the person they can't live without, but also be the person we can't live without. Pursue our own dreams, maintain our own identity, and in doing so, we'll create bonds that are both powerful and enduring. This is the art of making someone emotionally dependent, a lesson that transcends time and continues to resonate in our lives today. Rule number 3. Don't show too much excitement when you meet with them. This rule is all about controlling the emotional climate of your interactions. In the game of psychological influence, showing too much excitement can be a sign of weakness. It's like giving away your power, showing that you're too invested, too interested. Instead, you want to keep a level of composure and mystery about your feelings. Here's the strategy: when you meet up, keep your emotions in check. Show interest, of course, but in a controlled, measured way. It's about striking a balance. You're happy to see her, but you're not over the moon. This approach plays into the psychological concept of playing hard to get. It's a classic for a reason. When you're not overly enthusiastic, it creates a challenge for her. She starts wondering why you're not as excited as she expected, which can actually make her more attracted to you. It's a form of reverse psychology: the less you show, the more she wants to see. But remember, this isn't about being cold or distant, it's about creating allure and intrigue around your feelings. It keeps her guessing and makes every bit of affection or excitement from you feel like a hard-earned reward. This careful balance keeps her on her toes and increases your psychological hold over her. You're not just another open book, you're a chapter she's constantly trying to read. The art of silence is the art of wisdom, as the ancient proverb goes. Let us embark on a journey through time, exploring a tale that exemplifies the power of measured enthusiasm and its profound impact on human interactions. In the bustling streets of ancient Athens, we find ourselves amidst a gathering of philosophers, each vying for the attention of the great Socrates. As we observe the scene, we notice a peculiar figure standing apart from the crowd, his demeanor calm and collected. This is Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, and his presence is about to teach us a valuable lesson. As Socrates approaches, the other philosophers burst into excited chatter, each trying to outdo the other in their displays of enthusiasm. They gesticulate wildly, their voices rising in pitch and volume. Yet, Zeno remains still, his expression one of quiet interest rather than unbridled excitement. Intrigued by this contrast, Socrates makes his way towards Zeno. The crowd parts, expecting a grand exchange between these two great minds. But what transpires is far from their expectations. Zeno greets Socrates with a measured nod and a gentle smile, his words carefully chosen and calmly delivered. This interaction, seemingly unremarkable at first glance, captivates Socrates. He finds himself drawn into a conversation with Zeno, their exchange deepening with each passing moment. The other philosophers, who had been so eager to gain Socrates' attention, now find themselves on the periphery, observers to this engaging dialogue. When we reflect on this scene, we begin to understand the power of controlled enthusiasm. Zeno's approach, far from being aloof or disinterested, created an air of intrigue that drew Socrates in. It was a masterful display of the art of attraction through restraint. Let us consider how this principle applies to our own lives. When we meet someone, be it a potential romantic partner, a business associate, or even a new friend, our natural inclination may be to show our excitement openly. We might think that by doing so, we're showing our interest and making a positive impression. However, as Zeno demonstrated, there's a subtle power in holding back. By maintaining a calm exterior, we create a sense of mystery. We become like a book with an intriguing cover, prompting others to want to open us up and discover what lies within. This doesn't mean we should be cold or distant. Rather, it's about finding a balance. We show interest, yes, but in a controlled, measured way. We're pleased to meet them, but not overwhelmingly so. This approach creates a challenge, sparking curiosity in the other person. Think of it as a dance. When we take a step back, it often prompts the other person to take a step forward. By not laying all our cards on the table at once, we invite them to want to see more, to dig deeper. In the realm of psychology, this concept is often referred to as playing hard to get. But it's more nuanced than that. It's not about playing games or being insincere. Instead, it's about valuing ourselves and our emotions enough not to give them away too freely. We maintain this composure, every show of affection or excitement from us becomes more meaningful. It's like a rare gem, all the more precious for its scarcity. This careful balance keeps the other person engaged, constantly seeking to understand us better. Then, when we navigate our relationships, let us remember Zeno and his interaction with Socrates. Let us strive to be not an open book, but a captivating story that unfolds slowly, keeping others intrigued and invested in each new chapter. In doing so, we not only increase our allure but also maintain a sense of self-worth. We show that while we value the company of others, we are not dependent on their approval or attention for our happiness. This inner strength, this ability to remain composed in the face of exciting new encounters, is a hallmark of true confidence and self-assurance. Meeting new people and forging new connections, let us carry with us the wisdom of Zeno. Let us greet each new encounter with a measured warmth, a controlled enthusiasm that invites others to want to know us better. In doing so, we may find that, like Socrates, others are drawn to us, eager to uncover the depths that lie beneath our calm exterior. Rule number 4, don't always be predictable. This is the place where interest goes to die. By nature, humans are curious beings. We're drawn to mysteries and things we can't quite figure out. When you're predictable, you're easy to figure out. It's like watching a movie you've seen 100 times. You know every line, every scene. No surprises, and that gets boring fast. People lose interest in things they can predict, especially in relationships. It's the excitement of the unknown that keeps things alive. When you're being unpredictable, you're essentially tapping into the basics of manipulation. You're playing with the principles of reward and uncertainty. It's like a slot machine. The unpredictability of the reward keeps people pulling the lever. In this case, you're the slot machine. Sometimes you give her attention and affection, and then you pull back. This inconsistency triggers something deep in the brain. It creates a kind of addiction. She starts craving your attention because she can't predict when she'll get it. This isn't just about being a mystery, it's about creating an emotional roller coaster. The highs are higher when she doesn't see them coming, and the lows, when you're distant, make her strive for your attention. It's a form of psychological control, a way to keep her thinking about you and wanting more because she can't figure out your emotional pattern. As we embark on a journey through the labyrinth of human connection, our tale unfolds in the sprawling metropolis of Neon City, a place where the lines between reality and illusion blur like watercolors in the rain. In the heart of downtown, we find Marcus and Sophia, living in their perfectly ordered world. Their apartment is a testament to their predictability, every object in its designated place, every moment of their day scheduled to the minute. We watch as they move through their lives like well-programmed androids, their actions so synchronized they could be mistaken for a carefully choreographed dance. But let's pan across the city to the Bohemian district, where Alex and Emma reside in their controlled chaos. Their home is a riot of color and creativity, a physical manifestation of their unpredictable lifestyle. We observe as Alex surprises Emma with impromptu salsa lessons in their living room, knocking over a precariously balanced sculpture in the process. Their laughter mingles with the crash, a symphony of spontaneity. Now, let's dive deeper into the psyche of our characters. Marcus, we discover, is haunted by childhood memories of instability. His predictable life is a fortress built to keep chaos at bay. Sophia, once a free spirit, has slowly molded herself to fit into Marcus's world, her vibrant colors fading to match his monochrome existence. Alex, on the other hand, grew up in a traveling circus. Unpredictability is woven into the very fabric of his being. Emma, a former risk analyst, found in Alex the antidote to her formerly sterile life. Yet, we see her occasionally glancing at her old day planner with a mix of longing and relief. As we observe these couples, we notice an invisible thread connecting them. Unbeknownst to them, they're all patients of Dr. Elixir Moon, a renowned relationship therapist with unconventional methods. Dr. Moon has been subtly influencing their lives, a puppet master pulling strings from the shadows. We watch as Dr. Moon introduces small changes into Marcus and Sophia's routine. A power outage forces them to have dinner by candlelight. A missed alarm throws their entire day off kilter. These tiny disruptions send ripples through their carefully constructed world. Meanwhile, Dr. Moon challenges Alex and Emma to find constancy amidst their chaos. We see them struggle to maintain a weekly date night, the very concept of routine foreign to their nature. Yet, in these moments of planned togetherness, they discover a different kind of intimacy. As the experiment progresses, we witness a fascinating metamorphosis. Marcus and Sophia's rigid world begins to crack, but instead of crumbling, it starts to bloom. We watch in awe as Sophia rediscovers her passion for spontaneous poetry, her words adding splashes of color to their monochrome existence. Marcus, initially resistant, finds himself drawn to the beauty of uncertainty. Alex and Emma's transformation is equally captivating. Their whirlwind existence begins to find its rhythm. We see them creating traditions, Sunday morning pancakes, monthly stargazing trips. These islands of predictability become anchors, grounding their relationship without stifling their free spirits. But Dr. Moon isn't finished. In a twist that leaves us on the edge of our seats, she introduces a wild card, a charismatic artist named Zephyr. Zephyr floats between both couples, a catalyst for change, a walking embodiment of the balance between order and chaos. We hold our breath as Marcus and Sophia, intoxicated by Zephyr's free-spirited nature, teeter on the brink of appending their entire life. Will they take the plunge into the unknown, or retreat to the safety of their routine? Alex and Emma face a different challenge. Zephyr's presence highlights the exhausting nature of their constant unpredictability. We watch them grapple with the realization that always being spontaneous can become its own form of predictability. As our story reaches its crescendo, Dr. Moon reveals herself, bringing the two couples together in a shocking confrontation. The room crackles with tension as they realize they've been part of an elaborate experiment. But amidst the initial anger and confusion, a beautiful transformation occurs. Marcus and Sophia, inspired by Alex and Emma's passionate approach to life, decide to inject more spontaneity into their world. We watch with joy as they book a last-minute trip to a destination chosen by throwing a dart at a map. Alex and Emma, in turn, are moved by the depth of Marcus and Sophia's commitment. They begin to see the beauty in building a foundation of reliability, deciding to create a shared daily ritual of connecting over morning coffee. As our tale draws to a close, we see these couples at a rooftop party, hosted by the ever-enigmatic Zephyr. The once separate pairs now mingle, sharing stories and laughter. We notice Marcus spontaneously joining a conga line, while Alex contentedly discusses the merits of meal planning with Sophia. So, what wisdom can we glean from this intricate dance of predictability and spontaneity? Firstly, we learn that balance is key. Like a pendulum, we must swing between the extremes to find our center. Too much predictability leads to stagnation, but constant chaos can be exhausting. The sweet spot lies in the middle, a life that has enough structure to feel secure, but enough flexibility to keep the spark alive. Secondly, we understand the importance of personal growth within a relationship. Marcus and Sophia's journey teaches us that it's never too late to rediscover lost parts of ourselves. Alex and Emma show us that embracing new aspects of life can strengthen, rather than diminish, our core selves. Thirdly, we recognize the value of stepping out of our comfort zones. Whether it's injecting spontaneity into a rigid routine or finding stability in chaos, growth often happens at the edges of our familiar world. Fourthly, we learn the power of influence and inspiration. These couples, despite their differences, had profound impacts on each other. It reminds us to stay open to learning from those whose lives look different from our own. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, we understand that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to relationships. What works for one couple might not work for another. The key is to find your own unique balance, to write your own love story that honors both partners' needs and natures. As the sun sets over Neon City, casting long shadows and painting the sky in brilliant hues, we're left with a profound appreciation for the complexity of human connections. In the dance between predictability and spontaneity, we find the rhythm of life itself, ever-changing, always challenging, and infinitely beautiful in its imperfection. Rule number 5: prioritize your goals and ambitions above fleeting pleasures. This is about showing where your priorities lie, and believe me, it's a powerful psychological play. When you focus on your goals and ambitions, you're sending a clear message: you're driven, you have purpose, and you're not easily swayed by short-term gratifications. This attitude is incredibly attractive and positions you as someone of high value and substance. Here's how you put this into action. Let her see that your goals come first. It's not about neglecting her or the relationship, but about showing that you're not dependent on her for your happiness or sense of fulfillment. You're your own person with your own path. This creates a dynamic where she sees you as someone who's striving for something greater, someone who's not just living for the moment but building a future. It's a trait that's psychologically appealing. we're naturally drawn to individuals who show ambition and determination. Moreover, this approach taps into the concept of scarcity. When you're less available because you're pursuing your ambitions, your time becomes more valuable. She'll start to see your time and attention as precious commodities. This isn't about playing games, it's about genuinely being invested in your own growth and success. By doing this, you're not just another option in her life, you're the prize. You become someone she wants to be associated with, someone she respects and admires. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to command respect and admiration effortlessly, while others struggle to make a lasting impression? This question has echoed through the halls of history, a riddle pondered by philosophers, leaders, and common folk alike. Today, we delve into a story from the annals of time, a tale that speaks to the core of human nature and the power of prioritizing our goals and ambitions above fleeting pleasures. Picture ancient Rome, a city bustling with life and ambition. Among its citizens was a young statesman named Marcus, a man deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. Marcus was not born into wealth or privilege, but he possessed an unyielding determination to rise above his circumstances. His eyes were set on a future where he could make a difference, where his voice would echo in the Senate chambers, influencing the destiny of Rome. Marcus understood the distractions that lay in his path. Rome was a city of indulgence, where pleasures beckoned from every corner. Lavish feasts, intoxicating wines, and the allure of companionship were temptations that could easily derail one's focus. Yet, Marcus made a conscious choice. He would not be swayed by the ephemeral joys of the moment. Instead, he prioritized his goals, knowing that true fulfillment lay in the pursuit of something greater. His journey was not easy. Friends mocked his dedication, urging him to join their revelries. They saw his refusal to partake as a sign of arrogance, a belief that he was above them. But Marcus was undeterred. He spent his nights studying the works of great philosophers, honing his skills in rhetoric, and preparing for the day he would stand before Rome's most powerful. As time passed, Marcus's dedication began to bear fruit. His speeches in the Senate were marked by wisdom and clarity, earning him the respect of his peers. His influence grew, and with it, the realization that his path was not just about personal success. Marcus's ambitions were intertwined with the fate of Rome, a city he loved deeply. The very people who once doubted him began to see Marcus in a new light. His commitment to his goals was not a rejection of their friendship, but a testament to his character. They admired his resolve, recognizing in him a quality that set him apart. Marcus's time became a precious commodity, not because he withheld it, but because he invested it wisely. In prioritizing his goals, Marcus tapped into a fundamental psychological truth: we are naturally drawn to those who display ambition and determination. His life was not a series of fleeting pleasures but a tapestry of meaningful achievements. He was not just another figure in the crowd, he was a beacon of purpose. This story of Marcus teaches us a valuable lesson. By focusing on our ambitions, we send a powerful message to the world: we are driven, purposeful, and not easily swayed. This is not about neglecting relationships or becoming isolated. It's about showing that our happiness and fulfillment are not dependent on others. We are our own people, walking our own paths. When we prioritize our goals, we create a dynamic where others see us as individuals striving for something greater. Our time and attention become precious, not because we play games, but because we are genuinely invested in our growth. We become the prize, someone others want to be associated with, respect, and admire. This is not just a tale from history, it's a strategy for life. As we navigate our own journeys, let us remember the story of Marcus. Let us prioritize our goals and ambitions, not as a means to an end, but as a way to build something meaningful. In doing so, we not only become individuals of substance but also inspire those around us to reach for their own stars. Rule number 6: avoid getting jealous of other men around them. Jealousy, while a common emotion, is often seen as a sign of weakness and insecurity. When you show jealousy, you're telling her that you feel threatened, that you're not confident in your position. That's not the image you want to project. Instead, you want to embody confidence and security, two traits that are highly attractive. The strategy here is to remain unfazed when other men are around. If she's talking to another guy, keep cool. Show that you're secure in yourself and in whatever you have with her. This nonchalant attitude can actually work in your favor. It plays into the psychological principle of reactance. When people feel their freedom to choose is being restricted, they want it more. By not showing jealousy, you're not restricting her, you're giving her the freedom to choose. Paradoxically, this often leads her to choose you, as you've positioned yourself as the more confident, unbothered option. However, this doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. It's about showing her that your value and self-worth don't depend on her actions. You're in control of your emotions, not the other way around. By mastering this, you increase your psychological appeal. You're not just another guy reacting predictably out of jealousy, you're the guy who stands out because you're secure in yourself and unshaken by potential competition. The green-eyed monster doth mock the meat it feeds on, as the great Shakespeare once said. And how true those words ring, even centuries later. We gather here today, not as mere spectators of life, but as active participants in the grand theater of human emotions. Let us embark on a journey through time and wisdom, exploring the treacherous paths of jealousy and the liberating heights of self-assurance. Picture, if you will, the bustling streets of ancient Athens. The agora is alive with the chatter of philosophers and merchants alike. Among them stands Socrates, the wisest of men, engaged in a lively debate with his students. As they speak, a beautiful woman passes by, catching the eye of many. But Socrates, unlike his younger companions, remains unperturbed. His gaze is steady, his demeanor calm. This, dear friends, is the essence of our lesson today. Now, let us transport ourselves to the courts of Renaissance Italy. Lorenzo de' Medici, the Magnificent, holds court surrounded by artists, poets, and beautiful courtiers. A lesser man might have succumbed to the green-eyed monster, seeing his beloved Lucrezia conversing animatedly with the charming Pico della Mirandola. But Lorenzo, secure in his own worth, merely smiles and continues his discourse on the merits of Neoplatonism. His confidence, you see, is magnetic. We find ourselves now in the salons of 18th century Paris. The air is thick with perfume and wit. The Marquise de Pompadour, confidant of King Louis XV, moves gracefully through the crowd. Lesser men might have wilted under the king's gaze, but not our protagonist. He engages the Marquise in sparkling conversation, unruffled by the attention she receives from others. His self-assurance is a beacon in the room, drawing admiration from all corners. Let us sail across the Atlantic to the New World, where a young nation is finding its feet. At a grand ball in Philadelphia, we see Alexander Hamilton, the brilliant statesman, watching his wife Eliza dance with other gentlemen. Does he fume? Does he intervene? No, he stands tall, engaging in political discourse with Jefferson, secure in the knowledge that his worth is not determined by who his wife dances with. We find ourselves now in the smoky jazz clubs of 1920s Harlem. The music is hot, the drinks are flowing, and the dance floor is alive with energy. A young trumpet player watches as his girl swings with another cat. But does he lose his cool? No, he channels that energy into his music, playing a solo so sweet and confident that she can't help but be drawn back to him. Fast forward to the glamorous Hollywood of the 1950s. On a movie set, we see a leading man watching his co-star flirt with the director. But instead of throwing a tantrum, he focuses on his craft, delivering a performance so compelling that it overshadows any off-screen drama. His professionalism and confidence make him the true star of the show. Now, picture the tense atmosphere of the Cold War. Two world leaders meet at a summit, each accompanied by a retinue of advisors and interpreters. One leader grows increasingly agitated as his counterpart charms the room. The other remains calm and focused on the task at hand. Which one, do you think, comes out on top in the negotiations? We find ourselves in the bustling trading floor of Wall Street in the 1980s. A young broker watches as his mentor chats up the new talent. Instead of feeling threatened, he redoubles his efforts, making bold moves that pay off handsomely. His confidence in his abilities, rather than his position, is what propels him to success. Let's step into a Silicon Valley startup in the early 2000s. Two co-founders are pitching to investors. One becomes flustered when an investor seems more interested in his partner's ideas. The other remains cool, building on his partner's points and showcasing their synergy. Guess which one impresses the investors more? We're now at an international summit on climate change. A young activist takes the stage, her passion and knowledge drawing admiration from world leaders. Her older colleagues could have felt overshadowed, jealous of her spotlight. Instead, they support her, amplifying her message. Their collective confidence creates a powerful movement. Picture a modern-day social media influencer. He sees his followers flocking to a new rising star. Instead of trying to tear down this newcomer, he reaches out for a collaboration. His security in his own brand turns a potential rival into an ally, expanding both their audiences. We find ourselves at a cutting-edge research facility. A team of scientists is on the verge of a breakthrough. When a junior member makes a crucial discovery, the lead researcher could have felt threatened. Instead, he celebrates this success, knowing that true leadership isn't about hoarding glory but nurturing talent. Now, imagine a championship game. The star player is having an off day, and the coach puts in a substitute who starts scoring. Instead of sulking on the bench, our star cheers on his teammate, ready to support in any way he can. This display of team spirit and personal security elevates the entire team's performance. And so, dear friends, we come full circle. From the wisdom of ancient Greece to the challenges of our modern world, we see that true strength lies not in jealousy, but in confidence. It's not about controlling others, but mastering ourselves. Remember, when we stand secure in our own worth, we become truly irresistible. So let us cast aside the shackles of jealousy and embrace the freedom of self-assurance. For in doing so, we not only win the admiration of others, but, more importantly, we win the respect of ourselves. If these lessons resonate with you, consider how they might apply to your own life. Share your thoughts, engage with others who seek to grow, and continue exploring the depths of human potential. Remember, it's not just about being remembered, it's about leaving a legacy of purpose and passion. Please like, share this video and subscribe for more value content. Thank you so much and see you next time.